Good morning, and welcome to the online Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign. I am Reverend Florence Kaplow, the lead minister of this church, coming to you live from our sanctuary this morning. We are a church of many theologies, a justice-centered, multi-faith congregation that honors deeds above creeds, a religious community that strives to build beloved community in the here and now. You may be joining us today from just across the street or from across the country. Wherever you are, please know that this community, this service, is here for you, in whatever form you find us. If you want to follow along with a written order of service, you can find that right on the YouTube page below this video or in the service description on our website. And also, if you'd like to send in a shared joy or sorrow this morning, you can see the email address for that on your screen. This Sunday is our annual bridging service, where we honor those youth in our congregation who are crossing the bridge from youth to young adulthood. I just have to share a little story from this morning as I was putting the finishing touches on the service. I heard this commotion outside my window, and I looked out, and there was a male and female cardinal flitting around. And then I noticed that they're young, who do not resemble cardinals really in any way. These little short-tailed looking sort of sparrowy-like birds were, I think, having their very first flight as I observed them. And there were some pretty goofy things happening, but they were making it, and Mom and Dad were right there making sure that all went well on that first flight. And I thought that was a perfect way to start the day as we celebrate the flight of our youth. And this Sunday, we are honoring TJ, Thomas Joseph Negromo-Osagie, the son of Joe Omo-Osagie and Diana Black. His name means the chosen twin is a black child sent by God. I want to thank our youth coordinator, Emily McCown, TJ's family, and his YRUU friends for their parts in this service. There are many bridge crossings in our lives. From the first, when we cross over into life itself, to the last, where we cross over into whatever mystery is on the other side of death. There are the ones we recognize, like marriage or having a child. And then there are the many subtler bridges, unique to each one of us. I think of my trans friends and what it means to change your name to the name that truly reflects who you are. I think of the kinds of bridges that lead us to different work or to moving across the country or even across the world. We are not the same after we cross those bridges. Perhaps you are crossing a bridge in your life right now, too, no matter what your age. And if so, this service is for you as well, and you cross with our blessing. When we are in community, we are held on both sides of that bridge, and we are accompanied, if only in spirit, as we walk across. Each year in our bridging service, I say that we must continue on the other side of this bridge to hold our new young adults in love and community, making sure that there is a real place for them, whether they stay locally, and lucky for us, many do stay here, as TJ is planning to do over the next couple of years, or if they travel far away. This is our spiritual work as a congregation, to love those who grew up among us fiercely and with full commitment. When we fail at that work, and we do, our faith suffers, and we lose the future in those Unitarian Universalists who were then not held as they went forward into the world. Please never forget that people who grew up Unitarian Universalists are special human beings with unique and powerful values and gifts for this hurting world, and they are to be treasured, whether they remain in this congregation or fledge and fly further to do their part in the world. When we do child dedications for babies or very young children, we give each of them a rose with the thorns removed. At bridging, we also give a rose, but one where the thorns remain. Because now you, TJ, wherever you are listening, are strong enough to meet life with all of its thorns. You will learn a lot about TJ today and his life and his spirit. Please listen with an open heart and a willing ear and a great, great spirit of love. As one of our weekly practices together, each Sunday we begin with a land acknowledgement, honoring those whose ancestral land we gather upon today. Wherever you are listening, please bring to mind the indigenous peoples of your place. There will be a moment of silence after the acknowledgement, and in that silence, I invite you to consider something you might do beyond this honoring to make a difference to Native nations today. We recognize and acknowledge that we gather today on indigenous land, taken through deception, coercion, and violence. We acknowledge the continued displacement and oppression of Native peoples and honor their commitments to survival, identity, and the protection of our world. Thank you.
We light this chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist tradition, to mark out this time together as special and worthy. If you have a chalice or a candle at home, we invite you to join us in lighting it and speaking these shared words, as printed on your screen and in your order of service. As we kindle this flame, we reignite our commitment to our congregational mission, to build community, seek inspiration, promote justice, and find peace. Come, let us spend this time together.
Instead of a reflection or sermon today, we wanted you to have a chance to hear from TJ himself. And he took up the challenge, but also had another idea, which was to have the focus be on others too. Our first video is of TJ, Celia Barbieri, and Rowan Trilling Hansen, 3 of our youth, as they sit on the steps outside our religious education classrooms and reflect on life and their relationships with one another and memories of being younger together. They refer quite a bit to coming of age, and I just wanted to let you know a little bit about that program. That is a year-long program for middle school age youth. It's held throughout our Unitarian Universalist world. It's an opportunity to really deepen in faith and connections with one another. And you can hear in what they share that coming of age was a formative time in their lives. And I wanted to mention that TJ's father, Joe Omo-Osagie, has been a powerful leader within our coming of age program for a long time. I think it's a real gift to eavesdrop on these 3 wise and playful younger members of our community. We apologize for the sound quality. If you miss some of what they say, you can always return to the archived YouTube service and turn on subtitles, and you'll be able to hear more of what is there. But please enjoy these 3 as they reflect on their time together here.
What's your earliest memories of me, like, in our youth group?
My earliest memories of TJ, like, ever? I feel like you were always sort of, like, in this, you would be in the same Sunday school class with me for, like, a year, and then you wouldn't for a year. And I always thought you were really cool.
I am really cool, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a year older than you, so
Yeah.
that's just sort of how it goes.
But then I don't think I really got to know you until we were in coming of age.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a good experience for sure.
A really good class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think back on it, like, it was a very good experience.
Yeah, sometimes I still like think about it just randomly sometimes. Because the three of us used to be like super duper close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was.
I miss it. I'm sad.
What an uplifting interview.
I just remember that time that we all went on the roof and then we got yelled at because they thought we were going to fall off, but we just kept on going on the roof.
I don't remember getting yelled at.
No.
I remember going on the roof.
No? Okay.
I really don't, but I do remember going on the roof.
Do you remember the time we all sat in the woods for 5 hours?
I do.
I think about that
yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could do it again. Like, it was a good experience, but I do not think I could do
It
it
was
again.
so boring, honestly.
The whistle was so bad that I thought it was a bird call, so I didn't come back in time.
Yeah,
There
I
was supposed to be a
remember that.
whistle to call us in
Didn't
for
they
the
just send
viewer.
out like a search team for you?
No, they just sent one person down the trail. I mean, they knew where I was sitting.
With a search team.
I wouldn't call it a search
Yeah, it's a
team.
one
Lost
person
Celia
search
in the
team.
woods for
Yeah.
like 3 minutes.
I
Yeah.
remember, I don't remember this personally, but I'm pretty sure you have a story that's like something about me. We were doing an obstacle course and something about me falling in the mud.
Oh yeah, I do
Oh,
remember
was this
that
at Allerton?
distinctly.
Maybe?
Yeah,
We did
yeah.
like
It
the
was
trust
the
falls
4-H
and
one,
stuff.
yeah.
That was very
I don't think
cool.
I fell on the trust fall. I think
No.
I would remember that, but I
There
think it
was-
was just like climbing over something.
Yeah,
I
there
feel
was,
like-
I remember the specific obstacle because you know you fell in the mud.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
I still really don't remember that though, which is
What was
Yeah.
the obstacle?
It was like I'm gonna try to describe it with my hands. So there's this piece of wood, like an axle, right? And then they have a barrel on it, and you have to push
Oh.
people over the barrel.
I remember
Oh.
this.
Spins, yeah. So
Yeah.
It was really hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I went over first because you know obviously I went over first,
Mm-hmm.
and Celia goes over next. But the barrel spins out from under you, and you just plummet directly to the ground. And my dad tries to catch you, but you just slip and hit the mud.
I'm kind of surprised I don't remember this.
Yeah.
That sounds like the type of thing I would remember. At one of the retreats, you definitely went to sleep early.
Mm-hmm.
And no, TJ,
Oh.
you were up at like, like all the normal kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was very invested in not being the first one to go to sleep, like, ever.
And then you had like a baseball bat or something, and you were like, "It's okay. I usually sleep with a machete."
Yes, I remember
That
that.
was such a lie. I didn't even do that. I don't know why I told you guys that I did that.
TJ, what are your plans?
I got accepted to U of I, but you know, since Bernie didn't get elected, college is way too expensive for me to go there. So I'm gonna go to the Parkland because my dad works there, so I go there for free. And I'll just transfer to 4-year after I get my gen eds done there.
So are you in Parkland Pathways, or are you just like,
No, I'm just going to, I'll just transfer.
okay?
Yeah, I already missed the deadline to sign up for Pathways because I was deciding if I was going to go to the U of I or not. Yeah, I had
Do you
no
know what you're
clue.
gonna major in?
Poli-sci is what I'm thinking right now. Yeah. And then law school, probably, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like adding the actually makes it sound like you're shocked.
I say that all the time, and I feel so bad. No, that is very cool.
You promise?
I promise.
If I was a breed of dog, what kind of dog would I be?
Oh.
I think I would say that you're like a lab, you know?
Mm. Which color lab?
I don't know.
Okay.
Do different colored labs have different personalities?
No,
I feel like
to
they're
my
all sort of
knowledge.
the same.
I feel like they do.
They do?
Really?
Yeah, because I had a black lab when I was younger. His name was Lobi, right? And he was like very aquatic, but I feel like other chocolate labs aren't as aquatic as black labs are.
Are you an aquatic person?
No, I hate water.
Okay, then you're
yeah.
a chocolate lab.
No, I'm such a bad swimmer that it's pretty funny.
Oh.
I just naturally sink. My dad and my little brother do too. It's just genetic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not like a little dog. In reality, they're a little too yippy. You're not really a yippy person.
Yeah. Also, I'm like
Maybe a husky, a
also I'm
lab,
like 6
something
feet
like.
tall, so little dog doesn't really fit.
I feel
Well, we're
like
talking personality, not
Sure,
physical
sure.
build.
That's fair.
No, but I feel like your physicality affects your personality, you know? Like the way you occupy space.
That's true.
A little bit, not a lot.
Yeah.
No, I think it's true. I think that how you look definitely affects the kind of person you are, and the kind of person you are also affects how you portray yourself, so how you look.
Sure.
Oh, that was deep.
That was very deep.
That was a good
Wow.
one.
Leave that in.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like what me and you were talking about, Celia, the geography.
Oh, yeah.
Affecting like how a country is formed and like their culture and stuff, except on an individual level.
True. Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure I would be a different person if I didn't grow up in this part of the Midwest or whatever.
definitely.
Or even like this town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like just this.
TJ, what are some things that you really want to remember in 10, 20 years that happened during high school or before?
Okay. I mean, I've already said a couple times how much the retreat was like. I don't know if life-changing is the right phrase for it, but it was definitely meaningful.
Formative?
Yeah, but I'm definitely not going to forget about COVID. Yeah, that's definitely something I'll remember. I really hope that someday, like my grandkids, if I have grandkids, are going to be writing about COVID for their A-Push class.
I've had that
Yeah.
exact
Yeah, I think that would be
thought.
really fun.
And they can be like, Grandpa,
Yeah.
did you really live through this? And you're like, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to talk about it yet.
I'm going to show them the movie 2012 where as the apocalypse stuff happened. I'm going to be like, yep, that's
This
a
is what it was
documentary.
like.
That's an actual documentary. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, your grandpa single-handedly saved the world. That's why it looks like the way it does now. That's something my grandpa would do to me. He told me when my little brother was born that he had 8 eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, so I ran into the room and I'm like, Grandpa, he only has 2 eyes. Yeah, my grandpa's a character.
What value is most important to you, like moving forward?
Okay, so that's a tricky question because if you mean personal value, then I'd probably say independence. I don't like being tied down, so I guess that would kind of be freedom as well. You know, I like having the ability to change my path if I want to see a better path to go on, you know. But if we're talking about values in general, like ones that I wish I had, that would be resilience, you know. I don't think I'm, you know, fragile or anything, but there are some people with so much resilience, and I really admire that in someone, and I wish I had that. What about you? What do you say?
Probably empathy. You know, I feel like I have not always done a good job of thinking about other people, and is something that I think I could do to get better.
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
I think, I don't know, empathy is a really good one, but I also think just sort of like a strength of will in living life and continuing to live life, and compassion just for yourself and for other people is really important to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's something, not necessarily that I struggle with, but it's something that I really want to continue having as an important thing throughout the rest of my life.
It's really hard to maintain, even if you're good at it, you know?
Definitely. Because you have to have a lot of self-confidence to go down that path, too.
You have to really, like, have a lot of conviction for what you're doing.
For sure. Yeah, all of ours are kind of similar in, like, different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each Sunday, we bring our individual joys and sorrows of our lives to our time together. Please bring to mind the joys or sorrows of your life as we sing our blessing song. You can sing along or just let it wash over you as a blessing. There's still time to send in a joy or sorrow to be read aloud, and you will see an email address during the blessing song.
May the long time sun shine upon you. All us around you, and the pure light within you. Guide your way home. May the long time sun, may the long time sun, may the long time sun, may the shine upon May the long time sun shine upon you. All us around you, and the pure light within you. Guide your way home.
I have a sorrow here from Chris Hanauer. Sorrow for the family and colleagues of Champaign Police Officer Christopher Oberheim and our whole community in the wake of the senseless killing this week. And I also want to honor that that the person who shot that officer was also killed, and that family is undoubtedly suffering as well. From Andrea Herzog, a joy. In listening to this bridging service, we are reminded of all that our three kiddos have received from this church on their journeys of growth and self-discovery as they move from childhood to adulthood. Next week, we will be celebrating one of those adults as our oldest graduates from St. Olaf College. Thank you, UUCUC, for being part of making him who he is. It's Jonah. And let me just see if we have one more. Here we go. From Jim Hannum. Happy birthday to our grandson, Evan, who just celebrated his 13th birthday. Evan is in the coming of age group, and I've met him there. And if you sent in a joy or sorrow and it wasn't read this morning, sometimes there are little email delays. We will make sure to print it in the e-news this week. We will now have a time of reflection, meditation, prayer, accompanied by our own Juan Camacho on the piano. I just want to offer, before we go on, a congratulations to Juan, who had his first year doctoral recital this week on Thursday. I heard that he passed. I'm sure it was with flying colors, and we send our congratulations to you, Juan. And now we will listen to Juan as we connect with our own hearts during this time. We, as Unitarian Universalists, acknowledge that we are part of the sacred web of life. Our connections with each other, with the wider community, and with the whole world. In the spirit of our connections with each other, I want to remind everyone that on June 6th, which is 2 weeks from today, we will have our annual meeting for members of UUCUC. So if you are a member, please attend. It will be on Zoom, virtual, as our last two annual meeting and our special meeting in December were on Zoom. We have it all figured out now. It'll go smooth as silk, I'm sure. And we really hope you'll attend so that we have a quorum. It's the time where we pass the budget for the next year, the slate of candidates for leadership positions, and this year, a really, really important vote on the affirming for our congregation the 8th principle, which has to do with beloved community and racial justice. So please plan on coming on the afternoon of June 6th. This afternoon, there is another informational meeting about our budget led by our board chair, Brian McDermott, and we don't want him to be sitting alone there on Zoom. So if you'd like to learn a little bit about the priorities for next year in our budget, please join him this afternoon. Or you could go, actually I think it's afterwards, but there's also a family dance party right here on the grounds of the church from 3 to 5. All are invited. Family means everybody. We're all family. And to get more information on either of those, please just check our e-news or the news section of our website. In the spirit of how we are connected with the larger community and with the world, each Sunday we share half of our Sunday offering with an organization in alignment with our values, sometimes a local organization, sometimes national. In May, we are sharing with the Equal Justice Initiative, which was founded by the civil rights attorney Brian Stevenson. The organization provides legal representation to people who have been illegally convicted, unfairly sentenced, or abused in state jails and prisons. They challenge the death penalty and excessive punishment and provide re-entry assistance to formerly incarcerated people. This feels just right to me as our offering today after hearing that one of TJ's life goals is to go to law school. So with that, please, during our offering, consider giving generously.
Every year, UUs like to celebrate our graduating high school seniors with a ceremony we call bridging. We call it bridging because we see it as a transition, not a goodbye. And these bridges are all over our lives, whether it's our first day of kindergarten or we're retiring with grandkids in tow. And this bridge is a very unique bridge. This time last year, early pandemic, Emma Herzog and Jordan Simmons crossed this bridge. And TJ, now it's your turn. I often ask myself how to teach empathy, and I think you know the answer to this question. Your heart, your compassion, your concern for others just radiates from you. And I can see you again and again offer a hand to those who might need it or speak up for those who can't. And I also think that your creativity, your charisma, your wit, it's rare to be matched in a person with this embodied, active empathy. And so I know when you win, TJ, the whole world will win too. And I'm so grateful that UUCUC can be a part of your journey into the future. And so Why Are You has a gift for you. And it's the latest book by Hanif Abdurraqib. And he's a poet, an essayist, a writer, a music critic. And I'll try and read a little excerpt. He reminds me of you. He says, "I don't want to go to the moon, but I do want to go to a place where black dreamers stare at the moon and remark loudly about the signs and stars in a summer that feels as endless as those old summers which pulled me from the paltry responsibilities in my youth. The planet within the planet. People dance in spacesuits and young black boys fire rockets above the trees, and they always come back down in one piece. For as long as there is a future, there will be black people in it, hopefully surviving in ever newer and better ways than we are now. Circles of light opening their wide arms to briefly take our bodies somewhere higher. It will appear spectacular to anyone who isn't us."
This song says, no matter who you are, no matter where you go in your life, at some point you're gonna need somebody to stand by you. Oh yeah, oh my darling, stand by me. No matter who you are, no matter where you go in life, you gon' need somebody to stand by you. No matter how much money you got, all the friends you got, you gon' need somebody to stand by you.
When the night has come and the land is dark and that moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't shed one tear. Just as long as your people come and stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me.
Oh, stand by me. Come on, stand by me. Yeah. Oh, when that sky that we look upon Thank you, thank you.
I just want to point out that I had the wrong time for the dance party this afternoon. This is very important information, so listen carefully. It is 5 to 6 p.m. when it's cooler, which is a good thing. And the budget, not to be missed budget information meeting is 3 p.m. on Zoom. So lots to do this afternoon if you need some activities connected to the church. The next video that you're about to see is an interview between TJ and his maternal grandfather, Ronald Black. And based on the interview, I believe he is a farmer in the area. Notice that TJ does as much interviewing as being the one who is interviewed. And then we will close with a slideshow of TJ's life, which we often do as part of our bridging services. And our closing hymn is one that we used to do to sing to the children and youth as they left the sanctuary. So that felt appropriate as we leave this friendly place. Please enjoy.
How would you like to take a role in making history?
I mean, you know that since I was little, I wanted to be a lawyer. I've always been argumentative and all that. So after law school, I've thought a lot about politics, and I think it would be really, really cool to be the president someday. And if that doesn't work out, then I'll go down to Supreme Court Justice. I want to do something important where I can help people, is the bottom line, really.
Well, you could be a county board member like me.
I mean, I guess that wouldn't be so bad.
Well, you know, after you get a little older, you decide that you probably need to give a little bit back to the counties or the country that you were born in.
Mm-hmm. Is that why you decided to be a county board member, to give back?
Well, actually, when I retired, I had 2 or 3 people ask me to come be a county board member. I would have probably, kind of like you, been in politics right after the military, but a lot of things transpired, and some of them were kids, your mother and a few others, and I needed to get a real job instead of one that I may have to only have for 2 years or 6 years at a time.
That makes sense. So what made you want to be in politics, just in general?
Oh, I kind of like you, I was always a little argumentative. I always say I'm shy, and I am, but I can argue about either side of any topic if you want to.
I don't think anyone who's met you would call you shy, Grandpa. That's one of the words I don't think anyone would use to describe you.
But written in my high school yearbook, one of the student teachers, I wasn't the nicest guy sometimes. I would argue any and every point, especially in English. And one of my English student teachers wrote in there that as much as I like to argue, I should have been a lawyer.
Yeah. Did you ever think about becoming a lawyer?
I thought about it at one time, and I started taking some political science classes, and they were the dumbest classes I'd ever taken. So I decided that
not for you.
They weren't for me. I grew up on a farm, and so biology was a lot better fit for me.
Grandpa, what do you think I'm talented at? Like, what do you think the thing I'm
Nothing.
best at is? Okay.
Yeah. You have a good intelligence. You're talented at that. You're able to talk with people fairly easily, and and you've been able to work with us whenever we're in the hayfield or whatever. You can just jump in with the crew and get along with them. You're not afraid of work, so that's something that people,
my generation just doesn't understand.
No,
right?
No, because this is work, and it's a wonder they don't have muscles that big on their on their thumbs. But you know, you are able to. We discussed it earlier. You have innate leadership abilities. You can become a leader with those innate abilities. The only negative thing that I have about the young gentleman is I was teaching him how to rake hay 2 years ago.
Not this story, Grandpa.
All this story goes, I was teaching him to rake hay 2 years ago, and he was doing a pretty good job on the flat ground. And so I told him, and it's a clutch tractor, I told him to go to a different field, and I think Aunt Dawn was following you or something, I can't remember, or in front of you, showing you where the field was. And you started going up the hill, you hadn't geared down, and the tractor just almost died on you, so you pushed the clutch in. Well, it started going down the hill. At the bottom of the hill was, you went over a pond, the dam of the pond, and when and your aunt comes back and says, well, it's the good thing he's okay. And I said, the good thing he's okay? What happened? Well, I think you better come look. All I could see of my tractor that was left in that pond was the scoop and a little bit of the hood of the tractor. And that was my favorite tractor.
Well, in my defense, I was really good at driving backwards downhill.
And hitting a great big pond.
Yeah.
Staying on it.
Yeah.
But I was just glad you were okay, because the turn that you had to make at the bottom of that hill, it's a wonder that tractor didn't tip over and you ended up underneath it in the middle of the pond. So I was just thankful that you didn't do that. That was
an experience.
It's not an early time experience, but it was an experience that I can remember. I didn't remember going down in the pond, but I do remember making you go back down in the pond as we pulled it out with another tractor and a chain. Yeah, you had to chain it up. So,
do you have any words of wisdom to inspire me as I go forth in my path?
Well, your Aunt Dawn wanted some words of wisdom that I have said a few times. It was my old Army's phrase, if you want. The difficult we do immediately, the impossible takes a little longer. There's really nothing a person can do. There's really nothing a person can't do. But sometimes it takes longer to do the harder stuff. The best stuff to do is if things are difficult, if you got two tasks, one's hard, one's easy, you tend to want to do the easy task. Do the hard one first, because then it's over with and it's not on your mind. As you're doing the easy task, you're still thinking, boy, I've got this thing to do and I don't want to do it. Get it over with. Forget about it.
All right.
Okay.
Do you have any advice for your grandpa?
Live a couple more days?
Yeah. Live as long as you can, I guess. You're already good about not taking life too seriously. If I had to give some advice, I'd say try to be more open to trying new things, especially new foods.
New foods, But I think I've been pretty open on most new things, because as superintendent at Lovington, we were visited by one of the Illinois State Board members, because I was making sure that we were getting into the computer age at that time, when all the teachers said, we don't want to work with computers, we want to teach them the way we've taught them for 40 years. But you have to adapt with the times. And if it's learning computers, fine. If it's eating some type of weird old food, no.
Adapt to the times, but not with the music, right?
Well, the music is pathetic. Yeah. My radio on Sirius is always on 50s, 60s, and 70s. You won't hear me go up any higher than the 70s.
Okay, Grandpa.
And the end of the 70s are not as good as the beginning of it.
All right, Grandpa. Thanks for the music advice.
As we leave this friendly place, love give light to every face. May the kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return. As we leave this friendly place, love give light face. May thy kindness which we learn light our hearts till we return.
Many blessings, Thomas Joseph Negromo-Osagie, on your life and bridges, whatever they may be. And I just have to say personally that I believe that you really could be president one day, and I look forward to that time. And blessings, everyone else, on the bridges in your life as well. May they be easy crossings, smooth sailings to the continued changes that are part of our nature. Blessings, and have a beautiful Sunday afternoon.
We account you as a blessing as you make this journey on. Strangers will see light within you that you've carried all along. When shadow comes, let it be your teacher. You have all that you will need for a bridge into tomorrow. We are grateful for your lead. Cherish this day and remember how once you were just so small. Patience and your great persistence beckons you to future's call. Steadfast through storms, grace through sunshine, your gifts are great to those in need. Be not afraid, for tomorrow our love grows with you like a seed. Blessed be.
We extinguish our chalice with these shared words written by Unitarian Universalist minister Reverend Elizabeth Selly Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.